It's a symmetrical track, but the thrill of jumping off the front straightaway down into turn one is the biggest thrill in all of NASCAR.
Let's take a look at our Shell Rotella race analysis. As you can see, 200 laps, 200 miles. Vince, you mentioned the stages, 45, 45, and the last one, 110. Our pit window, somewhere between 80 and 85 laps, and our 2017 winner, Johnny Sauter.
Starting lineups for the race today, led by Noah Gragson and Johnny Sauter on the front row. Gragson, the pole winner earlier today in qualifying, his first pole of the season and the fourth of his career.
A couple teenagers back in row number 2.
21-year-old Jesse Little from Sherrills Ford, North Carolina, in the top 5 at the starting position here. Dalton Sargent, that truck looked really strong yesterday in practice.
Grant Enfinger back in row number 7. Top 10 finishes every single race this year.
Harrison Burton, just 17 years old. Tanner Thorson making his first start, as we heard Alan describe earlier in the broadcast. So 32 trucks lined up, and this place is a challenge, whether you are a veteran who's been here 20 times or whether you are somebody who is here for the very first time. It is never easy at Dover.
I never will forget the first time I came here, Vince. I thought they were kidding when they said you got to run down and jump off that front straightaway and land down in the turn, and that's exactly how this feels, a thrill ride.
Our onboard cameras.
Yeah, this is our JEGS onboard. This is Cody Coughlin. He will start his Chevrolet from the 18th position, 8th his best finish so far this year.
Let's hop up to the 13th starting position and look at this view. Awesome visor cam. You can see him looking around, getting ready to go. It's a Ford onboard camera for Myatt Snyder. He's going to roll from 13th. Look at all that traffic ahead.
We're going to ride along with Johnny Sauter on the Autism Delaware onboard camera. He's the Allegiant Airlines Chevy, and he will start from the front row trying to go back-to-back here at Dover.
Remember all that traffic I showed you, Phil?
Yes.
Noah Gragson has no issues.
Zero traffic.
No one ahead of him. He's starting on the pole. He's got its switch Toyota wound up, and he's ready to roll.
Starting from the outside, too.
I like that. I think you can get a better jump there. You can also hold that inside truck down low, causing him to really pinch his truck off, leaving the corner. We'll watch for that on the start here.
You know, we mentioned the cabin fever, and maybe some of these guys going to be a little over anxious after having not raced in 6 weeks. We'll see. There's a yellow early in this race, it seems, every year. Hermie?
Vince, not only is Johnny Sauter doing double duty this weekend, so is our pole sitter Noah Gragson. Rudy Fugel, the crew chief, said he believes that going back and forth has really calmed down Noah Gragson. He feels better heading into this race than he has in recent races. Another note, he told him, please be conservative on your pit road speed. This place has the history of busting people on pit road. We'll follow that today. Alan?
Hermie, Dalton Sargent's crew chief, Doug Randolph, is off today watching his daughter graduate college. So sitting in for Randolph is veteran crew chief Buddy Sisko. The last time Buddy Sisko was on top of the box, he won in Homestead last year with Chase Briscoe. They're hoping to find that magic again and bring it home for the victory.
The 22 of Austin Wayne Self has gone to the rear for unapproved adjustments. He had qualified 21st. There's the lineup, getting ready, coming to green. Noah Gragson leading the way, racing at Dover. Wow, 3 wide coming through 2. Somehow they made it work. Todd Gilliland in that yellow number 4 on the move on the outside.
I like what I see about those trucks on the outside. We never really saw any trucks run the... Oh, trouble already!
Stuart Friesen, the 52, involved. He got the worst of it.
I'm not sure, Vince.
Let me look at it when you come back around here. I'll check you out.
He did a nice job getting that thing heading in the right direction, but the truck he was racing, was that the... I couldn't tell exactly who it was. I'm afraid it was Brett Moffitt, one of the favorites to win this race today. After practice yesterday, I think he would be the odds-on favorite to win. Yes, there's some damage to that 16 truck.
A lot of damage.
A bad qualifying effort for that team got him back in the 12th position. He was fast yesterday in practice, but he has equal amount of damage as Friesen.
Here's what happened. Keep an eye on. There's the 16. Oh, it looks like Friesen maybe got bumped from behind by David Gilliland, possibly?
I think he was trying to stay off of Matt Crafton and may have got out of the throttle there for just an instant, and that's where the bump may have come from.
Oh, he's just loose under Crafton, and then he just slides back up the hill. And poor Brett Moffitt. That's just such a tough break. You talked about 2 and 3 wide, Vince. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Let's watch from Myatt Snyder's view.
Inside. Clear low. Get low. Hurry. Oh, clear. Nice job. Back her down.
Talking about a nice job. Watch the 51 here. Harrison Burton go through. Goes low and just hammers it.
Cody Coughlin doing a nice job avoiding the 98 of Grant Enfinger.
I mean, that's as good of a job as I've ever seen a group of trucks do.
Absolutely.
Missing the craps on the front straightaway. That was huge, and those guys just worked their way through there perfectly. Nice work by the spotters, too. You heard those guys giving their drivers direction.
Really a surprise that neither Moffitt nor Friesen didn't suffer more damage than they did. We'll see how significant the damage is for each of those vehicles when we come back. Early incident at Dover. Yeah, I told you history indicates we were going to have an early yellow. That's
wow.
17 of the 19 races we've had here for the trucks at Dover have had a caution in the first 20 laps, and it didn't take us long to get one today. This is race number 5 of the season. We mentioned been a while, 40 days since John Hunter Nemechek won at Martinsville, joining Kyle Busch, Brett Moffitt, and Johnny Sauter as our season winners. What kind of damage did Moffitt and Friesen sustain, Hermie?
Vince, Brett Moffitt got a fair amount of damage to the left front fender area of his truck. They were able to get 4 fresh tires on it, but they are concerned about the toe end. And Michael can elaborate on this. The way the steering wheel is indexed in the truck may give some indication to him whether or not that's correct, but they're concerned about the toe. They're also having NASCAR look at their tires in an effort to get more tires in case they need them. Later on, you see the 52 of Stuart Friesen back down pit road. They put right sides on last time down pit road. They're back in for left sides, and most of their damage was centered around the right front of that race truck, a pretty sensitive area when it comes to aerodynamics.
Well, that's for sure. An aero plays a role here. I mean, it's only a mile track, but
we're hauling the mail here.
Probably speeds upwards of 165, 70 miles an hour at the end of the straightaways.
Well, Moffitt and Friesen, 2 drivers that I expected to play into who ends up winning this thing here today. Back under green at the Monster Mile. Gregson out front.
Gregson has done a nice job on both the initial start and this restart.
Oh, and Haley could barely get up in front of Johnny Sauter. Might have been a little teamwork there. That was really close, but they made it work.
Single file with Gregson, Dalton Sargent, or excuse me, Justin Haley, with Johnny Sauter, Todd Gilliland in there.
There's Todd's dad, David Gilliland, in the 54 truck. I know he's really excited about getting to race his son here in NASCAR on the banks of Dover. See how that battle turns out.
Riding along with Myatt Snyder. That's Austin Hill, the 02 truck, that white truck that just got by Myatt.
Nice start to the race by Hill. He's up to the 11th position.
Parker Kligerman in the 75, and that's Todd Gilliland working the outside. That's for 4th. Gilliland tucks back down underneath Kligerman. Kligerman really liked his truck in practice yesterday. Was optimistic about how they were going to run here this evening.
He was really fast here last year in that same truck, and got caught up in an accident not of his making. But Parker really gives that truck a good ride there, that Food Country truck. Just runs a limited schedule, but he won our race last year at Talladega.
And another kid that just runs a limited schedule is 21-year-old Jesse Little, and you can see him heating up Todd Gilliland in that bright yellow number 4 truck. Jesse Little's got 2 or 3 full-time employees. It's a family-owned team. He works on the truck himself, and when they bring that baby out, it's tuned up and ready to go.
Ooh, problems early for Grant Enfinger down pit road in the Curb Records truck.
Allen.
Grant Enfinger in trying to figure out what's wrong with the truck. They had to come down the pits. They're checking out the left side, the left front tire right now. Unclear what's wrong with the 98 truck as he heads back out onto the track.
You know, Phil, he had started the season with 4 straight top 10 finishes, and this certainly puts him in a bind here in Dover.
Yeah, it's good. He's going to probably end up 2 laps down here, so that's going to be really, really tough to overcome. Hard to get a free pass being 2 laps down.
I just love what we're seeing out of this racetrack. Plenty of grooves for these drivers to move around.
We told you about Parker Kligerman and his optimism.
Might have a vibration. Managing it. Definitely got a vibration. Tire or drive
Now that'll take your optimism away in a hurry, won't it?
Sure will.
Yeah, but you got to think that all the wheels are tight, and that's the main concern with the vibration. We've seen tires, wheels come loose before early a first run in a race, but it's very rare.
And remember, these are the same tires they qualified on as we watched Myatt Snyder in that 13 truck trying to get that spot back from Austin Hill. So they would have not changed these tires since qualifying. It's not a situation where tire changer.
And Snyder gets into Hill, and Hill into the wall.
Keep it up there, keep it up there, keep it up there.
We saw Snyder's truck very loose.
Well, he got
in
down
practice.
underneath that, again, he got underneath that seam there right at the bottom of the track, and that caused his truck to get loose and got into Austin Hill.
Well, he had nearly the same fate in qualifying. The truck got really loose with him when he clipped that apron. And anytime you're on the inside of another truck and you dive down in the corner, we talked about aerodynamics. Your arrow is out the window, and he's really low on the entry there. That means he's going to be low on the track. You see him clip the apron there, gets sideways, fights it to keep it off of Hill, but eventually they make contact.
He just needs more room when he gets loose down there, and that's the room he didn't have. Austin was right there. You see the damage to that United Reynolds truck, the left rear corner of that truck.
That's just a young guy getting in over his head a bit there on the entry of the turn, and unfortunately took another racer with him. I think there's not much damage to the Snyder truck, and maybe the 0-2 of Hill can get going again. But you see right there where it bottoms out, that just pushes him up the hill just enough.
A tough break for Austin Hill. He had back-to-back top 10s. Let's watch it here from the view of Myatt Snyder. Austin Hill on his right.
That's just a bad angle right there, Phil. When you enter the corner that low.
Keep it up there, keep it up there, keep it up there, keep it up there, keep it up there.
That's spotter Brett Griffin.
I don't think your nose is too bad.
Giving some direction to Snyder, but when you enter the corner that low and that far away from another truck, your angle is off.
Yeah, for sure.
Caution for the second time here at Dover. Welcome back to the JEGS 200 here in Dover, Delaware. The Monster Mile under caution for the second time. This one involving Myatt Snyder and Austin Hill. Our first incident involved Stuart Friesen and Brett Moffitt. Moffitt got the free pass on this yellow, so he'll be back on the lead lap, and there is that 16 of Moffitt.
I think aero-wise, that truck looks pretty good. Most of the damage was at the top of that front fender or back behind it. Hermie, how about it with the 16?
Well, yesterday this truck was one of the best trucks in practice. Ask anybody in the garage, they put this truck in the top 2 or 3 favorites. But since this accident, the truck has been too tight, especially when it lands. It's not 100% sure the toe is exactly right, but they feel like right now they want to get some more tape on the front of this truck and try to help it aerodynamically turn through the center of the corner. And NASCAR has awarded this team an additional set of tires should they need them later today. Alan.
And Hermie, the 98 of Grant Enfinger, got some damage in that initial caution, and they had to pit because they had cut down a front left tire. But as they pit, watch this here. Watch the gas man. He's going, as they try to get on the damage and they put the new tires on, the gas man touches that tire right there. That is a violation. He is not allowed to assist. He is only allowed to fuel. That is a penalty. So Enfinger has been back down pit road serving that penalty, and they pitted a few more times just to make sure nothing else is damaging the left side tire they've now put on it. So they're just making sure it's as good as can be for the rest of the race, guys.
And that is a new rule this season, and what the crew members can do, particularly the gas man, with one less crew member this season in all 3 series here at NASCAR.
See the crew member on the right front saying we're all good over here. The tire was definitely flat. You could see it sitting against the wall, but that puts them in quite a bind here, Vince. They're 2 laps off the pace, and if they don't get another quick caution, it'll be a long day for them to get 2 laps back into Dover.
The good news is right now, Michael, as you know, right, if the caution were to come out now, because he has the highest scored non-lead lap truck, he would get a free pass right now. So what he needs is a really quick caution.
Well, he just may get it. We've had 2 quick ones already here in the first 19 laps. This first stage, only 45 laps. They go by quick, and the laps tick off quickly here on this 1 mile. Noah Gragson on the outside, our pole winner. Gilliland and Haley side by side for second.
There's Ben Rhodes, that green and white truck right there. Number 41 has been strong this year.
Certainly had a good practice yesterday. Was really confident in his truck. Saw him last night after practice, and he said, we got something to race them with. And, you know, interestingly enough, Phil, you talked about how strong the 16 Hermie did as well was yesterday. He said the only truck better than us, I think, is the 16 of Brett Moffitt. Moffitt's had early trouble. That probably got Rhodes' attention. He says, I'm going to go to the front.
David Gilliland in that red number 54 as Jesse Little takes that position. That's 6th, and now Crafton pulls alongside of Gilliland, and he grabs position as well.
I said real quickly at the top of the show, I liked Crafton in this battle against all the youth and the rookies, and he's having a good run early in the race. Looks like he's got a good number 88 Menards truck under him.
Boy, and he was so disappointed with that truck yesterday after practice. They really made some significant changes coming into today.
Significant, and after qualifying, he thought positive as well. He liked the way that truck handled, and you can tell he's moving toward the front.
On board with Cody Coughlin.
Cody's working Justin Fontaine there, trying to get to the low side of Justin. Hearing pick up that gas really early, and right there, Phil, that's when it gets tight on the exit, and you really have to watch yourself coming up on the straightaway.
Yeah, this racetrack's a little different than most of the racetracks we run to. You're going to get in the throttle right here, and then you have to pedal a little bit off the throttle. I mean, off the corn, if not even get all the way off the throttle, because that exit is so sharp.
I just think it's so interesting to watch these drivers figure out where to put the gas down and how to hold it down to get as much speed as they can, because it's so treacherous when you exit the corner especially.
Look how strong that 97, that blue 97 of Jesse Little is, all over the back tailgate of Johnny Sauter.
How about Sauter, Hermie?
Well, then Michael made a good point on the initial start of this race. The 18 took the outside, put Sauter down on the inside. That's especially bad for Sauter because his truck is really loose. You see him letting the truck slide up the racetrack because he cannot cut the wheel. Not enough lateral grip. In every restart we've had so far, the 21 has been on the bottom. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to adjust for later on in this race, because he cannot lose positions on every restart and try to go to victory lane.
Little taking a look. Sauter closes the door. Johnny Sauter just turned 40 years old this week, and tell you what, don't know that he's ever been as good as he is right now. As mentioned earlier, pulling double duty this weekend, running the Xfinity Series race as well. And each week in the Truck Series, every time you come to the racetrack in the truck, you know you're going to have to beat Johnny Sauter if you're going to win.
What did Johnny have? A streak of 7 top 3 finishes in a row going into Martinsville. His truck actually shut off during the race. He probably was going to make it 8 had he not had trouble at Martinsville.
Well, right now, Jesse Little is heating him up, though. Strong effort from Little in that 97.
And you can see Johnny's starting to look around a little bit. Went up high on the racetrack. See if he can make any better time up there. You know, Phil, I think you spend about as much time turning the wheel here at Dover as you do holding it straight with these big, fast bank corners. And when you are behind another truck, it changes your truck dramatically. The aerodynamics aren't the same, and you better start trying to find a part of the racetrack where you get some fresh air on the nose of your truck to try to help that situation.
And not only are we happy that he's moving around and can find some speed, the guys that are going to race tomorrow and Sunday are happy as well that they're working in that second groove.
With Sauter giving a look on Ben Rhodes. That's Rhodes in the 41. Sauter trying to get up underneath him.
So difficult to do right there. We talked about youth versus experience. Ben Rhodes is 21, Sauter's 40, Jesse Little's 21, and here comes 41-year-old Matt Crafton. You tell me which one's the favorite.
How about the teenager out front, Noah Gragson?
Well, the top 3, you've got Gragson, Gilliland, and Haley running 1, 2, 3. All 3 of them are teenagers.
I just love when the kids show up for the top series of NASCAR. They're ready to go, aren't they?
They sure are.
They've raced simulators. They've raced computers. They've been on go-karts, Legends cars. They understand all the intricacies of what it takes to be successful in NASCAR.
Parker Kligerman on the inside.
Look at him work that wheel in there.
He made a pit stop on this most recent caution. Remember, we heard him complain about a vibration. We're also hearing that he's still complaining the vibration did not go away.
That's for 15th. Great view from Cody Coughlin's JEGS machine. We're going to commercial, but you're not going to miss a thing. Going to keep on trucking at Dover.
Section PU 402, row 41.
Jimmy Johnson, the fastest gun in the West.
Section 104, row 4.
Leading out of the first win.
Section 25, row 3.
What a year for Bubba.
Section O, row 25.
Keselowski's going to win at Talladega.
Section 156, row 4.
Kurt Busch to the lead on the back stretch.
Section 233, row 1.
Martin Truex Jr. wins.
You get a seat, but we doubt you'll ever use it. Grab your seats at NASCAR.com/tickets today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Ahoy! Y'all hungry for some KFC? Try my extra crispy tender $20 fill-up, guaranteed to satisfy a family of 4. Good luck!
Are we rescued?
It's extra crispy good.
They say there's a man, a prodigy, fresh off a rookie year. Not even Hollywood could script. They say his swing is a work of art, a masterpiece created by the gods, worshipped by the faithful. Cody Bellinger and the Dodgers take on the Padres, Saturday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on FS1.
Things can get rough out there.
The bumper to the back of the 24.
You think you got the brass?
I proved it last season.
That was last year. Now we've got young blood ready to take out the old. Start your engines. It's time to race.
Great look inside the workspace of Noah Gragson. He leads here at Dover. Closing in on the final laps of stage 1. Gragson has led them all so far.
Stage racing's a game changer, isn't it? You know, you talk about getting close to the end of this stage. These guys know how important track position is. Getting those valuable points. They're going to race hard to see what they can get. We're only 6 laps from the end of stage 1.
Todd Gilliland, 17 years old, running second right there in that yellow number 4. Hermie.
Been impressive all day. Vince qualified in the 3rd position. He's working with an interim crew chief. Veteran Wes Ward is filling in for Marcus Richmond, who is still under suspension now. His truck has got some pretty good qualities. It starts out on the tight side, which is really good for restarts. It gets freer as he runs, which is really helping him fight through some of this traffic, and typically your truck gets tighter as you burn off the fuel. So looks like the 4 and the 18 right now about tit for tat. We'll see what happens on this round of adjustments coming up, Alan.
Hermie, that vibration that was plaguing Parker Kligerman, it was a loose right front tire. The good news is they diagnosed it. The bad news is he's had to restart back in the pack. He's working his way up now. He says the truck is good. The vibration is gone. Just a little tight. Hope to make an adjustment on the upcoming stage end.
Well, Kligerman's worked his way back up to 12th.
This has been the story of a rebound. What about the battle heating up for second? Johnny Sauter's closed in on Justin Haley, who was all over Gilliland. I'd be taking notes, Phil. Johnny Sauter's a smart racer. He knows at the end of this stage, he's got a fast truck. That'll pay off later in the final stage when we have to make a long run. He's probably got something he thinks he can race these guys with.
And Johnny Sauter, if he maintains a top 10 position in the stage, as we see Haley look to the inside of the 4 of Gilliland, that will be the 25th consecutive stage that Johnny Sauter has finished in the top 10.
Haley just inside, but not enough to make the move stick on Gilliland. Final couple of laps here in stage number 1. Pits are closed. Sauter now taking a look on the outside of Haley, his teammate at GMS.
I just like how Sauter is willing and able and ready to move around whenever he catches another truck. Watch him go high on the road here to see if he can get to the outside of Haley.
Got a lap truck right in front of him, though.
White slow truck, clear down.
Not much room to work. Sauter has to avoid the 83 of Bailey Curry. And there's the green and white checkers for Noah Gragson. Led them all in stage one, his third stage win of the season. A dominating effort for Noah Gragson, stage one winner at the Monster Mile. What a beautiful evening here in Dover, Delaware. Race number 5 this season for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Stage 1 complete. Noah Gragson in dominating fashion led them all. How about those top 3? Gragson, Gilliland, Haley, all teenagers.
We talked about the battle between the youth and experience. It's starting to shape up.
All championship contenders there in that top 10, so they all collect a little point for their efforts.
And I love that playoff point we got for Noah Gragson. That's important.
Coming to pit road for stops. We'll go to Hermie first.
Vince, the 4 of Todd Gilliland, he starts off neutral. He goes through a spell of being too tight, too free. At the end, they're going to put 4 tires on the 4, add some wedge for him. The 18 of Noah Gragson, they've told him the entire run, take care of the right front. He's done just that. He's a little bit free on entry at the end of the run. It'll be a wedge adjustment for the 18 as well. And Justin Haley of the 24, he is the happiest of all the front runners with his truck. It's going to be no changes, 4 tires and fuel. They will pull a little bit of tape off the front of the grill on the 24, but overall, very happy with his balance.
Like Parker Kligerman, the first one off pit road.
I doubt if he got tires, Vince. He was just in when we had that caution because he had that vibration. They changed 4 tires. Yeah, you see he hops off pit road there, gets the track position.
Ooh, a little bit of contact there between Ben Rhodes and was that Noah Gragson that he made contact with as they were exiting the pits?
Issues there for Jordan Anderson's truck as well. You can see a lengthy pit stop there. That's how tight this pit road is. It's the 3rd tightest pit road in all of NASCAR, and we know how important getting on and off pit road is. When you
watch this contact, Michael, when Ben Rhodes pulls out of his pits.
That'll do more damage to Rhodes' right front. I think Noah Gragson's pointing for him to move over. Look at Johnny Sauter just
great battle there for second off pit road,
edging ahead of Justin Haley. There comes Matt Crafton. Great stop for that team. And look at that battle.
So Kligerman went without the tires after coming down pit road and getting some just prior to the stop. Noah Gragson dominated that first stage and was the stage 1 winner.
Let's see if we can chat with Noah. Hey, Noah Gragson, great job there in stage number 1. We saw that bit of contact between you and Ben Rhodes as you exited pit road. Any issues for you there?
I don't know what the deal was there. Just got into it, but it's not really my priority right now. Priority is to get this safe light auto glass Toyota Tundra back up to the front as I really get there in the first stage. So got a little bit of work to do, but that's all right. We'll adapt and we'll come back stronger. So just thanks to safe light, everyone else who brings the past Toyota Tundra to the racetrack.
All right, buddy. Good run so far. Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
That all started, Vince, with a bad pit stop.
Watch the Jackman here on the right-hand side of the car. And the jack started to drop there. Couldn't get that right rear on. Slow stop, came in as the leader, goes out in 8th. Tough break for Todd Gilliland as he came in on that pit stop and came in 2nd place. Would have restarted 7th, but caught for speeding. So that's going to cost him a bunch of track position, and also the 16 of Brett Moffitt penalized for an uncontrolled tire. Been quite a challenge for Moffitt, involved in the accident and now a pit road penalty. More with Hermie.
Vince, the 41 of Ben Rose, also working with a interim crew chief, Bud Hafley, on this truck, and listen to some communication between Ben Rose and his crew.
Big picture stuff, Bud. Big picture stuff, okay? I know you want to dominate this thing, okay? It's all about taking care of your stuff, man. Just being around at the end of this thing. Stage points are huge each time, so just stay sharp all day, stay calm, relax, drive your race truck, kid. No, we're going to take care of it. Don't you worry. Do everything I can to take care of it.
It all comes back to thinking they've got a better truck than what their track position currently is, but got to pick and choose your moments to be aggressive, Vince.
Well, and especially here, over-aggressive can put you in a bind in a hurry.
We've seen a couple of examples of that already. Look at Mike Schneider. He snuck inside the top 5 here for this restart.
Starts on the inside of row 3. So that's Parker Kligerman on the outside. Remember, he took fuel only with Johnny Sauter on the inside on this restart to begin stage 2 at Dover.
Johnny Sauter moving as close to Kligerman as he can to try to slow his progress down with some air, dumping some air onto that truck.
Look at Ben Rhodes, 3 wide.
Didn't he say he was going to take care of that?
Yes, he did. Yes.
Joe Nemechek in the middle as Noah Gregson squeezed in on the inside, and now it's side by side, Gregson and Rhodes.
Looks like there's some grip up top now, Michael.
No doubt, and Rhodes was certainly willing and ready to take the chance to make that move. Passing trucks on restarts when they're all stacked up together is your best opportunity. We know that young man thinks he has one. Oh, what happened there?
So Gregson takes 6, then Jesse Little tries to pounce on Rhodes as well for position.
Lost some momentum there on exit of the corner.
Looked like maybe the truck cut off or something. There just wasn't any speed in it, even though it looked like he was going dead straight.
He's had that issue before this year.
On board with Myatt Snyder, who's running 5th. Had some early contact.
You know, and if you're Myatt right now, you're just thanking the team for giving you the repairs that it took to get this thing back competitive. Jesse Little's trying to take that 6th spot away. Looks like he's going to make that move.
We're really impressed with the performance of Jesse Little here tonight. His truck has been finely tuned, that's for sure. Just one start for Little, and that was earlier this season at Atlanta, and ran top 10 there. Qualified 5th.
I tell you, Phil, this has got the crew chiefs gears a-turning down on pit road. They're seeing what Parker Kligerman is accomplishing here. He stayed out on those older tires, took the lead on the start, and has been able to hold off Johnny Sauter on the fresher tires. Maybe a late race strategy call. You talked about strategy at the opening. That could be big today.
Remember, that's what Johnny Sauter used the last 82 laps last year on the same set of tires. There were faster trucks behind him, but they couldn't get by. Let's see if Johnny can make the pass on Kligerman.
Looked like Parker went well up the track, and Johnny tried to close the door. Parker said, no, I still got a momentum off the turn. I'm going to take advantage of it.
Both lanes racy, down on the bottom or up top. Kligerman holds off Sauter's attempt this time.
I think if Johnny could get to the high side of Kligerman, he would probably have the advantage. Parker way high that time, up in the gray. Johnny's going to be able to clear him.
Yeah, a little too high.
He overcooked it a bit.
So Sauter takes the lead from Kligerman. And Justin Haley now has his sights set on Parker Kligerman for 2nd, and there's Matt Crafton right there in that bright yellow Ford sitting 4th.
You talked about how much you like Crafton, Michael. He's looking pretty strong right now.
And this is Matt Crafton-like, isn't it? He's able just to slowly but methodically work his way to the front. This has to be a huge moment for father and son. Todd Gilliland in the yellow truck, the number 4. Look who's coming, Phil.
Remember, we had that penalty for Todd, so more than likely he's probably already gotten by his dad.
But think about the experience that David Gilliland has back in that traffic. All the aerodynamic turbulence they're faced with. David's doing a nice job of hanging with his son and maybe even trying to get around him here.
17-year-old Todd Gilliland there in that yellow number 4, and that's his dad right behind him, David Gilliland in the 54.
Yeah,
Dad cut Todd a break there when
he had some momentum. It looked like Todd made a run at Cody Kaufman. We're watching that JEGS onboard right now. Wasn't able to make the move, lost some momentum. And his dad was right there.
I guarantee you Dad cut him a break. But I talked to David earlier today, and he said, I'm just so excited to race my son. I know what it would mean for him to beat him. That would be very special for David Gilliland, and it's so cool that they're this competitive together.
Here's Todd now working on that 16 of Brett Moffitt. Moffitt suffered some damage early in the race.
Yeah, I think the 16 of Brett Moffitt had probably got the worst of that incident. Stuart Friesen right now is maintaining a top 10 position. The other truck that was involved in that early incident.
Just goes to show you how unpredictable things can be at Dover. Yesterday in practice, the first practice, 52 Friesen the fastest. The second practice, 16 Moffitt. On lap 2, those two are involved in a crash.
Gilliland looks pretty sporty, Hermie.
And Vince, we always talk about how different does a truck drive when you're in traffic. He came down pit road. He was up front, but his speeding penalty has put him back in traffic. And since they dropped the flag, although he's making some progress, he has complained about the truck being very tight. He's working under Cody Coughlin right here, but very tight, and also on the splitter more since they put tires on than it was before that. So the closer he can get to the front, the better that truck will drive, Alan.
Yeah, Father David Gilliland trying to track down his son Todd Gilliland. This is not only the first time they've raced each other in a truck, it's also the first time David has raced for his own truck. He's the owner of that 54. He was running a lot better, but a bad pit stop has put him back in the field a little bit. Before all this, they were telling him to run the Johnny Sauter line. Not bad advice, guys.
That's for sure. It's got Sauter out front.
And I would call the Johnny Sauter line, go where they ain't. You see Sauter, he dives in the corner. If the other trucks are down low, Sauter will go high, and vice versa. He knows how much grip is available out there and how to take advantage of it.
Here's Jesse Little in that blue 97. He's chasing Noah Gregson for 5th.
Yeah, Noah chased down Matt Crafton in the 88 truck. Wasn't able to make a move on him then. We know he has a fast truck. He's back up here into the top 5 now.
I just think this is a great story of Jesse Little. We talk about how small the team is and how they've only had one start this year as a top 10, and now he's running up there in 6th position in this race. This is a little team put together by Jesse, his uncle, and his dad. And they prepare their trucks and they come racing. And with the rules they have in the truck series, they've got the same power plant under the hood that two-time champion Matt Crafton has in his truck. That has to be mentally encouraging for that team. They tweak and tune on that truck and get it ready so that when they do come racing, they've got something to go with.
And we've talked about it before. That new engine package that NASCAR introduced this year will allow them to run more races because it's more economical. They can increase their schedule because of it.
By the way, the same engine is under the hood of the truck leading the race too.
20 to go in stage 2. Johnny Sauter, last year's winner at Dover. He's out front. Last year's winner, Johnny Sauter, out front here in stage 2 at Dover. Coming up on some lap traffic.
Ooh. Big time wiggle there for Johnny Sauter in the center of the corner.
Get out of it in a hurry, didn't he?
You think he's on cruise control out there? He's got a nice lead, but he's hammered down. Around Bailey Curry there.
Whoa, watch out now, watch out.
Easy. Come on down.
That was Fontaine that had to save it right in front of the leader, Johnny Sauter.
Is that Tanner Thorson that he got a hold of?
It was. Tab Boyd telling Johnny just easy, easy, easy.
Look at the smoke from the 75 of Kligerman. It's intensifying. Probably an oil leak, would you guess, Phil?
I would guess so. It doesn't look like tire smoke. It looks like it's coming out of the left front wheel opening there.
I know who knows if it's an oil leak or not, and that's
those
Haley.
Behind him.
Yeah, Haley in the 24.
That's all over his windshield.
Kligerman's led 11 laps in this race. Right now running second. Less than 2 seconds behind Johnny Sauter.
Doing a nice job on those older tires, Vince.
Well, it looks like he's got an issue
outside,
for sure.
One back, outside, clear.
10 to go here in stage 2.
And there's no doubt that Haley would be letting his crew chief know to tell NASCAR that he's getting oil on his windshield if that's the case. I mean, NASCAR wants to give you the benefit of the doubt if they can. And I would think that Justin would be really complaining about it if it in fact was getting on his windshield.
You'd probably also see him changing lanes a bit, maybe down the straightaway.
Running some on his windshield.
There it is.
Yeah.
Just heard it. The Noah Gregson and Jesse Little for 5th. Little all over the back end of Gregson.
It's like Noah knows it. Maybe Jesse's a little bit faster than him right now. Made a little defensive move down the straightaway. to block the lower lane.
We heard Noah have to pedal that throttle up off the corner like we were talking about earlier.
Gregson's run a couple of Xfinity Series races. In fact, running this weekend doing double duty, and he says that has really helped him. He felt like coming back to the truck, he felt even more prepared to run the truck after getting an opportunity to run a couple of Xfinity races for Joe Gibbs.
And doing an amazing job. Second in his Xfinity debut at Richmond. Michael, you called the race, and then a top 5 at Talladega.
That was just an incredible charge at the end of that race at Richmond. So much fun to watch. Those two young racers, Christopher Bell fighting to hold on to the lead with Gregson closing at the end of the race. That's what it's all about. Look like a couple veterans, Phil, and we talk about how young these racers are.
What are they saying about the smoke in that 75, Alan?
Yeah, you know, I can see the smoke from pit road. NASCAR certainly sees it and has told the team, but there are 0 complaints from the driver about performance, and the team certainly can't diagnose it at the moment. They don't know what's going on. Parker Kligerman's still in second. They hope he can make it to the end of the stage and they can diagnose it.
Well, they're going to have an opportunity to find out. NASCAR has posted the 75, so look for Kligerman to be coming to pit lane.
Yeah, the black flag is waving. You see it there for Kligerman, and it's just a safety situation, Phil. They can't let Kligerman, that's leaking oil from his truck, even though there's only 4 laps to go in this.
Flagging us next time by.
In this stage, that's getting all over Justin Haley's windshield. NASCAR has no choice here.
Yeah, what a tough break for that 75 bunch.
Here we come, guys.
I don't think he's going to get it rode down.
No showing us speed.
Nice job. Hustled right to the line, did the best he could, but this will take him out of contention.
Yeah, even at slow speeds, there's quite a bit of smoke coming out from behind that truck.
Having to pit under green, as Michael said, going to be a real blow to this group. Going to have to diagnose what the issue is. You watch that on pit road on the left-hand side of your screen, and then on the right-hand side is Noah Gragson in that 18 Toyota, and Jesse Little in the blue Chevrolet right behind him, racing for 4th.
I think the crew member has diagnosed the problem. Now can they quickly fix it?
Something wrong. Just shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. Did it have oil pressure? Yeah, it's got oil pressure, it's got everything.
Caution. The 33 of Josh Rayon.
Coming down right at the end of the stage, just a couple laps from the end of the stage. Now we're on the final lap.
So stage 2 is going to end under caution. Rayon was running in the 22nd position at the time.
That truck won't refire, it doesn't look like at the moment. Not heavy damage to his truck. Jordan Anderson was battling with Johnny Sauter to stay on the lead lap. It looks like he lost that battle, but will be the first truck a lap down. When
Get the free pass.
Sauter goes to pit road, he'll get waved around, back on the lead lap. Good solid run for Jordan Anderson. He's up in the 16th position.
And Johnny Sauter, you see right there behind the pace car. Sauter's going to come around and take the green and white checkers as the stage 2 winner.
This will be 26 stages in a row with a top 10 position.
That's almost unbelievable.
That's a lot. That's 13 straight races being in the top 10 in both stages.
And his 10th stage win. Josh Rayon brings out the yellow. Coming off turn 4. Goes around. The caution is out. And Johnny Sauter, a stage 2 winner. Stages in the books. Noah Gragson won stage 1. Johnny Sauter won stage 2. It's the JEGS 200 here at Dover, Delaware. Check in downstairs with Alan Cavana.
And we saw the smoke on the 75 for a long time, but I never heard any complaints from the driver. Could you feel it? Did you know what was happening?
I mean, I could tell it was smoking, but I wasn't going to admit it. Obviously, I wanted to keep going. We had a great truck. We had a winning Food Country USA Chevy there, and I didn't want to give up. We had a loose wheel at the start of the race, pitted, came all the way back, and I think if we could have put new tires on it, made an adjustment, we were just as fast as Sauter, if not faster, and I really felt he was probably one of the best trucks. So, it's disappointing. It's kind of a metaphor for my career a little bit. Frustratingly fast enough. But you know, I think we'll come back. We got a clean truck, and we'll try this again next year, hopefully, because we've been fast here 2 years in a row.
You can hear the disappointment, guys. He didn't want to give up.
Coming to pit road, Johnny Sauter leading the way, and we'll go downstairs to Hermie.
Well, Vince, Matt Crafton and his crew chief, Junior Joyner, have gone back and forth on the radio about adjustments. Crafton wants a track bar adjustment. He wants to raise that track bar. His truck is too tight. Junior said, initially, we just want to put tires on. We want to get out with the lead off this pit stop, but they are going to do a half a round on the track bar, 4 tires and fuel for the 88, the 24 of Justin Haley. He is good in turns 1 and 2, but he is too loose down in turns 3 and 4. They're going to try to adjust him with air pressure. In the 21 of Johnny Sauter, he is on the splitter too much at the beginning of a run. He gets too loose at the end of a run. Same issue. They want to be back out front again, so it's going to be air pressure only for Johnny Sauter.
Sauter out just ahead of Justin Haley.
And the reason Junior Joyner didn't want to take the time to adjust the track bar is because he wanted to beat him off pit road.
And adjusting that chassis adjustment just takes
a little bit extra time. That's right.
1 second can sometimes mean 2 positions.
Oh, yeah.
So hearing problems for the 2 of Cody Coughlin, an uncontrolled tire during that pit stop. Let's see if we can check in with Johnny Sauter. Johnny Sauter, it's Michael Waltrip and the boys up in the Fox booth. You copy?
10-4, how's it going, Mikey?
Mikey's good. It's been your birth week. I'm sure there's been a lot of celebrating, and it's really fun to watch you veterans battle with these kids. You've got a great truck. Can you finish this deal off?
Well, I think so. Real happy with how we're performing right now with our Allegiant Travel Chevy. Yesterday we were a little too tight, and today we're a little too loose. So hopefully we find the happy medium here. And but all in all, a good week and a long way to go. Just got to be smart here.
How do you balance whether you run high and low? You've been one of the most versatile trucks I've seen on the track. It's just that good, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's old Chevy's handling pretty good. We just, you know, I got to practice that Xfinity car a little bit today and kind of got comfortable with it. But for the most part, when they handle decent, you know, it's you know how it is. It makes your job a lot easier. So we just, like I said, long way to go, and keep the fenders on it, see what we can do.
All right, it's fun to watch. We'll talk to you later.
10-4, thanks.
Sauter running that double duty. Have the Xfinity car tomorrow here at Dover. And here's that uncontrolled tire for the 2 of Cody Coughlin. Great look at Myatt Snyder in there working it. One of the 4 for Thor Sport. As we take a look at our Ford track facts and where those Thor Sport drivers have had their best finish here at Dover. Of course, Matt Crafton, a former winner here. He and Johnny Sauter, the only 2 former winners, but Infinger and Rhodes have both run well here at Dover.
Okay, and Infinger still being shown 1 lap down.
Final stage underway. Johnny Sauter in that blue and white 21 leading the way.
It's the first time Johnny's been able to restart from the outside, and man, did he make it work.
Jesse Little hanging tough on the outside against Justin Haley, and there's Matt Crafton lurking.
Side by side for second. Little on the outside, Justin Haley inside. Matt Crafton lurking.
Look at Jesse Little drive hard down into the corner and take that spot away from Haley.
Here comes Crafton. Can he clear Haley to grab third?
Look who's jumped into this battlefield. That 51 truck of Harrison Burton. Talked about the 17-year-old starting 17th. Slowly and steadily has made his way up inside the top 5.
As his teammate Noah Gregson, the 18 truck, the black one right behind him. We're right along right there with that Safe Light Toyota for Noah Gregson.
Gregson, our stage 1 winner. The one issue they felt like they've had this season, they've won stage 1 a couple of different times, but just haven't been able to stay up with the track and the truck changes during the course of the race. And it's one of the things Rudy Fugle and Noah Gregson really had as a goal here after this break. It's taking this next stretch of 6 to 8 races and staying up with the changes that they need to make a little bit better.
And they had a little bit of an issue on that pit stop at the end of stage 1 that he won, and they haven't really overcome that yet. He hasn't been back higher than 5th since that pit stop.
It just tells you how important track position is. These trucks, Phil, believe it or not, are as fast as the Cup cars. And when these trucks get in the aerodynamic wake of the others going at the speeds they're going, you just don't handle as well because they're just so close to spinning out every time they go in the corner. We hear the throttle working. I think these trucks are just so fast, it's hard for them to race.
Ben Rhodes in that green and white Ford running 7th. Todd Gilliland right behind him. Gilliland in that Pedigree Toyota. Gilliland and Kyle Busch both sponsored by Pedigree this weekend. Of course, Kyle in the truck race on Sunday, and Pedigree donated $3,500 to a local charity animal shelter here in the Delaware area because Kyle and Todd are running that Pedigree scheme this weekend.
And behind those trucks, Austin Self, you see they're battling with David Gilliland, Todd's father. Austin started in the back due to unapproved adjustments, and he's been able to battle all the way up inside the top 10. So good moves early for this team. See if he can maintain. Here comes Brett Moffitt. We know his problems on the second lap, and now he finds himself back in contention.
The right side of your screen, that's that battle we were talking about. Looks like David got just a little bit of a nudge to the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. Grant Enfinger now is going to take. Oh, is there room? Barely enough room there.
You can just tell that angle isn't going to work.
There wasn't going to be room if he wouldn't have gotten out of it, that's for sure.
I think sometimes when you try to get out, it's a little bit too late.
Right now, Grant is the top running truck, not on the lead lap as we see this battle continue with David Gilliland and Austin Wayne Self. Grant Enfinger desperately needs a caution flag right now to try to get back on the lead lap, get that free pass.
And 54 of Gilliland, the 22 of Self. That's for 10th. Big wiggle there for Self, and Gilliland secures the position, and Enfinger now on the inside of Austin Wayne.
Another truck with trouble early right behind those two, Stuart Friesen. He had to make an unscheduled pit stop again. He finds himself 2 laps in arrears. Wow, but look at this battle.
Talk about a bad angle getting in the corner.
Phil, this sun is starting to shine brightly down on the speedway. That could change the way certain trucks handle.
Yeah, track temperature definitely going to go up with this sunshine. It's been pretty much overcast since we started the race.
Certainly stage 2 was almost all overcast, almost as if the sun was setting, but it is out and bright right now as you ride on board with Myatt Snyder down in that 13th position.
That's Joe Nemechek straight up ahead, and Austin Self that he's trying to chase down and pass.
We can hear how much work he has to do with the throttle. Listen.
Just can't quite hook it on the very bottom on exit, slides up. You can see those other 2 trucks drive away.
Snyder, a couple of top 10s in 4 races this season, trying to creep his way back up toward another.
That's Jordan Anderson giving that 3 truck a great ride, trying to get underneath Myatt Snyder.
Anderson's up to the 14th position. Here comes Cody Coughlin. He was able to get around Anderson. I think Jordan lost his momentum battling there, and Cody Coughlin took advantage of it.
Gilliland, David Gilliland, taking a look at Brett Moffitt for 9th.
I think Scott Zipadelli's made the 16 truck better since that early incident. We saw him actually going backwards in the first half of the race. Now it looks like that truck has stabilized to somewhere in the top 10.
Well, they had built this truck new, of course, a new truck, and they had built it for this race here at Dover. So to have that early damage,
so
they have to try to make do. Certainly a disappointment for that 16 group, but they are running inside the top 10 as Coughlin goes around Myatt Snyder for position.
I think Cody has a pretty good truck.
Yeah, that thing's tuned up. Jerry Baxter and the team has given him some nice adjustments. Looks like his truck is handling better than the guys he's racing around. And you can see Self's truck has been loose. It's been sideways a few times.
Cody had that tire that got away that forced him to the back of the pack for this restart, and he's made his way back now up into the 13th spot.
Sure is fun at Dover when your truck's handling just a little bit better than everybody else's, isn't it? See those guys slipping and sliding, and you're able to take advantage of it.
Johnny Sauter out front. He's led 53 laps, the most ever here at Dover. Won this race last year. Can he double down and do it again today? Johnny Sauter trying to hold off Jesse Little with 80 to go at the Monster Mile. Sauter in that 21 as they come up on lap traffic. About a 2-second lead cut in half, and now it's down to 2/10 because of that traffic.
And these are lead lap trucks. Ooh, Jordan Anderson got loose. Look at that. Here goes Jesse.
Inside
For the lead. Sauter got hung up by Jordan Anderson, and Jesse Little was right there and pounced.
What a move by Little. I mean, that's taking advantage of a little bit of a slide by Jordan Anderson.
And Jordan was trying to stay on the lead lap. He's running up in the 15th position. He was on the lead lap. Now he's a lap down, but Jesse was on the money there.
And you can see Johnny Sauter. We talked about his versatility, the way he can move that number 21 truck around. He was way up high, had a nice run, but Jesse saw it and slid up in front of him.
First time Jesse Little has led here in the Truck Series, and now he's trying to hold off Johnny Sauter. We talked earlier about how good we thought Little's truck was, and he had closed the gap on Sauter because of traffic, but now Sauter looks like he's got the faster truck, and he's on the move again.
Really loose for Jesse there.
Look at these trucks slipping and sliding. Little was all over the place. You think, Phil, maybe when he got out in front, it got some downforce on that nose and it just made him loose?
Maybe too much front downforce.
And clear.
Sauter back to the front.
We're in our window now. We have 76 laps to go. We know everybody could stop now and get to the end. I don't think we're going to see pit stops probably if we go green to lap 160 or even after that.
Right-hand side of the screen on the replay. Watch Little take advantage. Jordan Anderson got loose. Sauter had to check up just a little, and Little was right there.
That was brilliant. Just a perfect move by Jesse Little to grab the lead. But when he got his number 97 truck out in front, she was a handful.
And how about this left side of your screen? We're watching Matt Crafton take over the third position from Justin Haley.
We talked about the sun. It's shining brightly now down on the corners here at Dover. Whose trucks would that complement? Whose would it hurt? It looks like Matt Crafton likes the sunshine.
How does the sun change how the truck might handle?
It just makes it slipperier. So if your front's loose, or front's pushing, it'll push more. But what's happening here is the father is trying to take the position from the son.
And you mean S-O-N, son.
I do, and this is a great battle. What about the dad saying, son, I got to show you a thing or two. I want you to be the best race car driver there ever is. I'm going to take it to you here.
Well, this is the answer to how much of a break Dad's going to cut son Todd Gilliland. We thought maybe he cut him one a little earlier when Todd had to slip in traffic. David let him out in front of him. And now David, the dad, has gone around Todd Gilliland, and that's for 8th.
That's got to make David so happy to see his old man doing so well, knowing that all the lessons he's been taught by David Gilliland, Todd's going to be able to take advantage of those.
Yeah, but you know, Todd, he's like, oh, my dad's got
Well, he doesn't want anyone to pass him, much less his dad.
Noah Gregson taking a look at Harrison Burton.
I think this racetrack has gone through a bit of a transformation. We saw Justin Haley lose a third position to Matt Crafton. Now that's Justin right in front of the 51 of Harrison Burton. He's lost about 2 seconds to Matt Crafton after Matt made that pass about 3 laps ago.
And look at this line Gregson is running. He's just probably listening to what you said, Phil. We got to move around. We got to change things. The track, she's a changing.
Ben Rhodes in 7th in that green and white Ford. David Gilliland on the outside. And there's Anderson, Jordan Anderson again getting caught in the middle. Gilliland underneath.
You think Todd Gilliland saying, my dad's crazy. Look at him go. He was way up the racetrack, taking him down sideways.
I think right now that the grip is up top, it looks like. David Gilliland went way up high to go around Jordan Anderson, and then he had all that momentum coming off too. He was able to drive up right beside the 41 of Ben Rhodes.
And to make a big save, though, collected it. 7, 8, and 9 right there on your screen. Rhodes, David Gilliland, and Todd Gilliland.
Now, green flag pit stops would be a ways off, Phil, but we know how difficult this pit road is to get on and off of without having a penalty. So these spotters up on top of the grandstands need to start telling their drivers, just be conscious of if we have to make a green flag pit stop, we've got to make sure we do it properly. This is the money stop that's coming up, whether it's under green or caution.
Jesse Little running second, Hermie.
Yeah, Vince, I know Johnny Sauter is leading the race, but for my money, Jesse Little has been the star of the show. It's really impressive the way he shows up to the racetrack, and I like the fact that they don't try to come to every race. They try to come to the races when they are most prepared. They got a new truck, a limited amount of people working on the truck at the shop, but they bring the best effort they possibly can. So the next question is, you guys discussing potential green flag pit stops. What may happen? What kind of pit crew does Jesse Little have? Well, the answer is he's got his Stewart Haas Racing pit crew on pit road. They don't plan on giving anything up on the racetrack or on pit road. He's got a shot to win this race.
What, isn't it amazing? All the crazy and great racing you see on a racetrack on a particular day, whether it's trucks or Xfinity or Cup, how many times it comes down to what happens on pit road?
Oh, without a doubt.
And we've already seen some penalties on pit road, Vince, and those early in the race, you can overcome them. You have a pit stop penalty now, you can't win.
No, you're not going to overcome your last pit stop a penalty.
Saw Johnny Sauter, the leader, putting Myatt Snyder a lap down. There's a look at Matt Crafton running third. The battle between Ben Rhodes and David Gilliland, that's for seventh. Gilliland inside of Rhodes.
Gilliland's truck's gotten stronger and stronger, Michael. If he can get a great pit stop, maybe gain a couple spots there. If we catch a caution and close the field back up, see, he finds himself 13 seconds behind right now. If he gets closed up here, as good as that truck is with the conditions we have right now, he may be a contender.
And I just think where he's so good, Phil, he's able to dive in on the bottom and cut around the bottom faster than the others. And I think that's just experience. He's found a nice line down there.
Johnny Sauter, an 18-time winner in the Truck Series, looking for number 19 today.
There's a man, a prodigy, fresh off a rookie year. Not even Hollywood could script. They say his swing is a work of art, a masterpiece created by the gods, worshipped by the faithful. Cody Bellinger and the Dodgers take on the Padres, Saturday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on FS1.
All week we work. We clock in, roll up our sleeves, and get the job done. And when Friday comes, we all get to raise
When they take the green, there will be 10 to go.
a little hell.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Bliss with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck for 41 straight years. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
Ahoy! Y'all hungry for some KFC? Try my extra crispy tender $20 fill-up, guaranteed to satisfy a family of 4. Good luck!
Are we rescued?
It's extra crispy good.
He's got it righted. Pass by the 18. Contact.
Oh, into the wall hard, and they pile up behind him.
Wow. What a race. Wow. What a run.
Johnny Sauter laying them down here at Dover. 80 laps led, coming up on 50 to go. But still, got to have one more pit stop before they can make it to the end, and that could be a determining factor, as there you see Jesse Little. It's been a strong contender today, but right now finds himself just a little less than 2 seconds behind our leader, Johnny Sauter.
Copy that. Still too loose. Did that change help any, or do you need more? I need more. It ain't really doing nothing. Track's stripping up.
That sounded like a bit of desperation, didn't it, Phil? Johnny Sauter talking with his spotter, Tab Boyd. Tab will then relay that information to Joe Shear.
Tab seemed a lot more calm than Johnny did.
Well, Tab's always calm. But he's one of the
smooth tones of Tab Boyd.
Just relaxing. I think I could still race if Tab was my spotter. He makes me feel good about everything.
Joe Shear Jr. on the right-hand side of the screen.
Right here.
Sounded like they're
Sauter.
Are they talking about pitting
him right here? See if we can get as much distance as we can.
They're talking about pitting already. I think they can make it all the way to lap 160 or
I think 20 more laps, and we're on lap 145 right now.
10 to 20 laps of needing to pit, so go hard here. Create a gap for a green flag stop here in a little while.
That's what they're talking
Got
about.
room? Go for it.
Is going as hard as they can until they pit.
Johnny
try to
Sauter's
open up a little bit of a gap.
Come back and tell them, didn't I just tell y'all I'm loose? I can't go any harder.
Yeah, I know you're loose, but just run harder. Yeah.
Sauter runs the truck race here today. Of course, he'll run the Xfinity Series race in the 23 for GMS tomorrow here at Dover, and then he goes home to Wisconsin on Sunday, and he'll run the Joe Shear Classic.
Well, that's what a race car driver.
That's
a
right.
dream weekend, isn't it? Gets to race 3 different vehicles in 3 different races.
There's one of his teammates, Cody Coughlin. Cody's the last truck on the lead lap right now, running in the 12th spot. He would love to stay on the lead lap, but look at that momentum that Johnny has up off the corner.
Inside race leader.
Cody's done a nice job. They made some adjustments on that truck, and he's been strong since the end of the 2nd stage and has driven up to the 12th position.
Good look at the 51. That's Harrison Burton, who's moved up into the 5th spot. Harrison's done a nice job today, just continuing to move up, Alan.
Yeah, he's been the strongest Kyle Busch Motorsports truck throughout the day. Remember, because of his age, he doesn't get a lot of opportunities here in the truck series quite yet. I asked him, does that make you nervous? You only have such a few opportunities. He says, no, the most nervous I've been all week is having to make a biology presentation in high school this week. Turn 1 at Dover, no problem. Biology, a little nervous. He is P5. He's been there for much of this stage, and they're just encouraging him to look out the windshield and just get a little more.
Yeah, just 17 years old, making just his 9th start here in the truck series. Doesn't turn 18 until October. Had a good running going here last year, Harrison did. They had to make a green flag pit stop in the final stage, and then the caution came out and ended up finishing 13th.
Heavy traffic here for our leader, Johnny Sauter. That was Joe Nemechek, another one of the lead lap trucks. The 11th place truck that Johnny had to get by.
That traffic really opens up some opportunity for Little to close ground, but this time Johnny's really driven away. He must have listened to the Joe Shear and Tab Boyd and just given a little bit extra here, and he's been able to put some gap on Little.
Isn't that where a veteran like Sauter, though, really can take advantage of that situation, even though the truck is really loose, as he described, having an understanding of where that edge is?
You know what I think's most important about that conversation, Vince, is what Joe Shear will do to the truck when they do make this pit stop. You can look at the sun and see that the clouds are nowhere near it. You can make a decision on what adjustments you do. Tire pressure, do you do a little bit of track bar? What's your decision on that final adjustment?
Little caught up in some traffic. Stuart Friesen right ahead of him.
I'm glad he backed out of that 3 wide, aren't you, Phil? That looked like a disaster coming there.
Good move on the bottom of the racetrack to get by Friesen.
These two have driven away from Matt Craft, and Matt's some 8 seconds back, and that's a battle for 4th there. Give it to Harrison Burton.
Remember now, we're 60 laps into this run. We only ran 45 laps before. Each stage was only 45 laps long. So now these guys are getting a feel of what their trucks do in a long run here.
And you know what I'm concerned about, Phil? Some tire wear. We've talked about it. We see all the rubber that these Goodyear tires are laying down. If somebody doesn't have that right front camber exactly right, running this many laps, we could see some wear and some issues.
We heard the crew tell Johnny Sauter, give it everything you've got, build a little bit of a gap, and he's put about a second on Jesse Little since that conversation, as you see the 16 of Moffitt on pit road. Herman?
Yeah, Vince, about 10 laps before we expected to see. Caution's out, caution's out.
And there's Stuart Friesen. Mike, you were talking about that right front.
That's exactly what that looks like, and that's what Dover is notorious for. Could you imagine trying to build a tire that would stand up to what these truckers put them through? And I'm not going to speculate, but like I said, any issue with the right front camber or the way that truck lands in the corner on that tire, if you're not exactly right and you run that many laps, that could be the result.
And maybe start out with a little bit too little air pressure early on in the run. There's so many things that can cause that, but tremendous amount of damage to that 52 truck.
And you remember, he's already been involved in one accident earlier in the race, so that could have been just enough. Knock the toe off in the front end, just enough.
And we're talking about a 1/16 of an inch is all it would take to knock that toe out.
It's a shame for Friesen, too. He came into this race 6th in the playoff standings, but only 4 points to the good in regards to that playoff cut line. I know we got a long way to go before the playoffs begin, but every single race makes a difference if you have a bad day, and it can really be detrimental to you from a points perspective.
Tough break for Brett Moffitt. That team had elected to come to pit road and try to take advantage. You see on the high side Friesen there. He tried to take advantage of putting those fresh tires on sooner than the leaders, making up some ground and getting back in a position to contend for the win. And just as he came to pit road, Stuart Friesen had an issue.
Well, that's just what we were talking about in regards to Harrison Burton last year.
Right.
Very similar situation.
I'm telling you what, with this sun out and the changing track conditions, I'm really interested to see who does their job down on pit road. Get my driver back out exactly where you pitted from at least, and make the right adjustment to be able to race this short haul to the checkered flag.
Moffitt will find himself 2 laps down now. He can take the wave around because everybody on the lead lap is going to pit now, so he'll get one of those laps back.
Joe Nemechek was the first driver a lap down, so he gets the free pass. Now Sauter had lapped up to the top 10.
Just a torrid pace set by Johnny Sauter, and Jesse Little being able to match him lap after lap.
Good look inside the cockpit for the 21 driver Johnny Sauter, the leader with 43 to go as they get ready to come to pit road. You don't want a speeding penalty or any kind of pit lane penalty here. Got to take care of your business. What crew is going to get it done the best? Allen.
4 tires and an adjustment for Harrison Burton. Been running well all day here in the top 5 as he pulls in. They're just reminding him to stay focused. This truck has 2 wins to its credit, trying to get a 3rd, Hermie.
Jesse Little hits his pit box. It'll be 4 tires and fuel. The adjustments will be in the form of air pressure. They need a good stop here, obviously, to keep that track position. The 88 of Crafton, 4 tires and fuel. Junior Jones has got to pump the air pressure up in the 88 to make him better, hopefully, at the beginning of a run. The 21 of Johnny Sauter, he's too loose. 4 tires Sudoku fuel, and he put a little bit of wedge in the 21.
Now the race off pit road, David Gilliland gained 5 positions, but there you see it, just 2 tires.
That's a Hail Mary, I think, Phil, with that wear that we suspect has taken place to those tires on that long run. I know he had the best one of the best handling trucks late in that run, but still, that's risky.
Great pit work by Todd Gilliland's guys.
Jesse Little. Well, look at that right front. Is he in the box?
He's certainly on the line. We've seen them push trucks back that are on the line previously. And we're getting a report
that's
now
a penalty.
That it is a penalty. He's pitting outside the box, and that's a lap penalty. That is not a tail of the end of the longest line. That is a 1-lap penalty for Jesse Little.
Have to be inside that white line. Let's listen to the radios. You see the black flag on Little.
My fault, guys. Damn it. I frickin' had it in first and it just clicked right out. I didn't have my hand on it. Sorry. My fault. I'll go make up for it here.
I don't think at that point he's talking about pitting outside the box. And, you know, really, Jesse made a mistake and pitted outside of the box, but another mistake was made when they jacked the truck up. If they just leave him on the ground and tell him to move back, then get in the box and pit the truck, they wouldn't have gotten that penalty. But when it went up in the air, that's working on the truck.
Boy, we said the pit stops were going to be critical. We're seeing it. Less than 40 to go, and a big development on pit road. Jesse Little came in for the final pit stop in 2nd, and this is what happens.
The jackman's first responsibility is to make sure that truck is inside of the box. And as you can see there, that right front tire, as he changes it.
And Michael, that right rear could be out of the box, but the right front has to be in the box.
Right there, outside the box. They pitted the truck. That's a lap penalty.
1 lap penalty. So Jesse Little goes from 2nd to 10th. David Gilliland also had an uncontrolled tire, so he drops back after being the first one off pit road, and so did Harrison Burton with an uncontrolled tire. So big mistakes and a late pit stop, and less than 40 to go. They're battling out front, and Johnny Sauter is in the lead, but getting pressure from Noah Gragson.
That was a great move by Johnny Sauter to withstand that effort by Noah Gragson. This is as high as Noah's been since they had trouble on pit road at the end of stage 1.
Now he's just got to stalk the veteran. You can see Todd Gilliland around Matt Crafton as well. Ben Rhodes in the 5th place in that green truck. But now it's just Gregson's job to try to learn, watch Johnny Sauter, see where he goes, maybe identify a weak spot or two in his game and see if he can take advantage of it.
Justin Haley and Ben Rhodes for 5th. Cody Coughlin right there as well, but
Coughlin's a lap off. Yep. He's back in the 11th position.
With 30 laps to go, this run is going to be about as long as the stage was between 1 and 2. So stage 2. So these guys have a good idea what these trucks do in that amount of time.
Top 10 all on the lead lap.
Jesse Little, you see the blue truck back there with the orange stripe. He needs to find and catch Cody Coughlin in that yellow truck ahead, try to get that position, and if the caution flies, get back on the lead lap. You can see there's 4 or 5 trucks between them, though.
Ben Rhodes in 6th, Hermie.
And Vince, he made a similar potential mistake as similar to Jesse Little coming down pit road. Ben Rhodes slid all the way through his pit box. The difference was he backed his truck up and got inside the box prior to the crew going to work on that 41. So although he cost himself probably a couple positions, he can salvage the day and potentially at least get a top 5 out of it.
Well, that's huge. You know, you might give up a few seconds, but you don't give up an entire lap like Jesse Little and his crew had to do.
Yeah, we don't have any more caution flags, and Jesse Little's going to end up this race at least 1 lap down.
There's the 97, came to pit road in 2nd place. And boy, we just talked about it. You want to make sure you don't make any mistakes on that final stop. And there were 3 of them, 3 different teams getting penalized on that stop, which we believe will be the last stop.
Jesse Little also has to get by the 16 of Brett Moffitt, who took the wave around as we suspected, and now being shown 1 lap down. There he is right there trying to get by that 16 of Brett Moffitt.
Phil, you and I both called that last stop the money stop. The driver couldn't make a mistake. The crew couldn't make a mistake. And we saw just that. And that's got to be so hard and frustrating for Jesse with so few opportunities to get to race his truck, to sit there and watch that NASCAR official with his hand in his face saying, you're not going anywhere now.
30 laps remaining. Johnny Sauter out front, being chased by Noah Gragson. Gragson was the pole winner earlier today. Sauter won the season opener at Daytona and is the defending race winner here at Dover. Gragson has been really good this year, but hasn't gotten to victory lane just yet. There's Jesse Little with a little contact, trying to get every single bit out of it.
Just minor contact with the right rear corner of that truck. He can come away from here knowing that everybody knew that they were a contender. They were here, but at the end of the day, it's going to be so hard to swallow.
But he's also going to know that he did it with his small team, and they were in a position to win this race late. Turned a lot of heads. I think his dad, Chad Little, won 6 Xfinity races, I think back in 1995. So, I mean, Chad could get it done behind the wheel, and his son obviously does a great job as well.
Gragson, is he closing the gap on Johnny Sauter?
Yes, he is. And just remember, Vince, how he closed at the end at Richmond. Remember the short track battle he had for the win there, going up against Christopher Bell? he did just like this. He stalked Bell. He watched his moves, got all the way to his rear bumper, couldn't pull off the victory, but this looks a whole lot like that night in Richmond.
So much experience up there riding in that 21 truck with Johnny Sauter, our winner here last year.
Are you saying age and experience versus youth and enthusiasm?
Yes, exactly what I'm saying.
And are you saying that if he gets there, there could be a bumper applied? We saw that at Richmond.
I don't know. We don't. Noah Gragson is a pretty clean race car driver, and we know Johnny Sauter is as well. I'm not sure that Noah Gragson would run up there and take him out. I really don't think that would happen.
Maybe a bump and run.
Could be a bump. Could be a bump.
You can see he just really is gaining right now. It's so impressive how he didn't panic when Johnny Sauter drove away a bit. He's been able to calmly run back up towards Sauter. But you also have to remember, Vince, how much is Sauter, the veteran, just cooling it right now, keeping the gap, making sure he takes care of his tires as well.
You know, we talked about Gragson not having won a race yet this season. There was a little built-in pressure for him coming to this team this season with crew chief Rudy Fugle, kind of the championship maker, crew chief for Eric Jones in his championship, William Byron for his great season in the truck, Christopher Bell last year in his championship season. And when you step into Rudy's trucks, there's a certain level of expectation. And Noah talked to me yesterday about feeling a little pressure to do that. And he says he finally feels relaxed and thinks that's going to make a difference moving forward. And right now, we'll see if he can close the door here and get past Johnny Sauter for his win.
Let's listen to him for a little bit and how he works that throttle as he tries to catch Johnny Sauter.
And Phil, he is doing everything he can to change the way he applies that throttle, change the way he enters the corner, just to see if something that he does differently behind the wheel results in that truck in front of him getting a little bit bigger, making some ground on him. This isn't just making laps. This is exactly what Noah Gragson needs to be doing, trying to run a different lane, a different line, and use the throttle differently to get there. Watch this. This is at Richmond. They're racing for the lead. A little bit of bump to the teammate. He got to the back bumper, was very respectful, got to the inside. You said it, Phil, raced him very cleanly, but he certainly let Christopher Bell know he was there.
His very first Xfinity start ever.
And
Camping World 20 to go here at Dover, and
get down.
Right.
Perfect.
Boy, Johnny Sauter barely got through that.
What an amazing job by Johnny Sauter and his spotter tab board. As well, Noah Gragson, he came along there just a second later.
Tony Hirschman had the same challenges with Gragson as they approached the spinning truck, excuse me.
Jordan Anderson in the 3, and I believe that's the 45 of Justin Fontaine. And it is Fontaine that has come to a stop on the inside wall, just on the exit of turn 2.
Fontaine's had an adventurous day, hasn't he? Been sideways a couple times. Finally got together with Anderson. Oh, good. He's going to be able to pull away. That means a quick caution. See the flat tire on the right front of the 45 truck there.
Yeah, he kept it out of that inside wall. A lot of times we see those trucks with considerable damage when they get into the inside wall.
Anderson was running 17th and Fontaine 19th. Both 3 laps down at the time.
Might be a little contact. Did Fontaine bounce off the apron for just an instant there?
Pretty good contact in the outside wall for Anderson. And look,
Wendell Chavis did a nice job getting through there in front of Johnny Sauter.
And watch this 18 truck of Gragson come through here. Look at that. Had to move to the middle, to the bottom. Nice work.
So the 2 leaders, or the leader and the second place driver, Noah Gragson, dodging a bullet there.
This will be good.
From the view of Gragson.
Down, watch this one come back easy. Come again. Middle. Come low. Clear out. Yeah, yellow.
I mean, all that's happening at 150 miles an hour, too, you know. Oh, trouble.
Todd Gilliland has come to a stop. What's the deal with the 4, Hermie?
It's a battery, Vince. They got to push him to pit road. Battery has gone dead on the 4. Costly situation for them. They had battled back through a couple of pieces of adversity and we're right there in position to have a good finish, but this will really, especially at this point of the race, prevent them from getting what they deserve today.
Yeah, they come back from an early speeding penalty on the first stop, and he was up inside the top 5, was running 3rd, and that indeed is going to put a damper on his finish.
Couple things. The sun is starting to go behind some clouds. The track's cooling off. We know how fast David Gilliland was late in that last run. He's going to be back in a position to see the leaders. I think the way this track is, these trucks are gripping to the track could change over the next few minutes, Phil. That could mean a game changer for our front runners.
Absolutely. And how important is this restart going to be?
Well, I think we're pretty confident Johnny Sauter will take the outside. Noah Gragson will be forced to the bottom, but there's certainly grip down there. We've seen moves made both high and low.
Getting in to change that battery on the 4 of Gilliland. Boy, another tough break. You know, at Martinsville, he had a really good run going, was running up front. They had to make a late pit stop, and he ended up 14th. Didn't get the result that was indicative of the quality of run they had, and I think the same is going to be true for Todd Gilliland today. Remember, Gilliland won't be able to run next week at Kansas, but then he'll turn 18 on May 15th, and then will be full-time in this 4-truck the rest of the season.
And you can see how quickly they're able to change that battery. They just pull one out, slide another one in. He's going to lose a lap here, but that's all he'll lose is 1.
What an amazing job. Look how quick they can change a battery in that truck.
That dog didn't even get a chance to catch his breath, did he? Still got his tongue hanging out.
We mentioned Kansas next week, and we can't wait. Be back on the 1.5 miles. Trucks always put on a good show, but I particularly enjoy going to Kansas and watching them run there. Great racetrack and a facility, and looking forward to it.
Talking about who's going to be in that 4-truck. How about Kyle Busch? He's had a little bit of success here in the Truck Series.
And he will be back in the truck next week at Kansas. A 50-time winner in the Truck Series.
Trying to catch Ron Hornaday, who has 51.
I'd say you have a pretty good chance at that.
I would think so. He's usually pretty competitive.
Kansas, Charlotte, and Pocono, the 3 races that Kyle has left.
These drivers got to be worried about the conditions changing.
Stay with us. NHRA coming up. The Force sisters, Brittany and Courtney, were the #1 Nitro qualifiers at last weekend's NHRA 4-Wide Nationals in Charlotte. Who's going to be #1 this weekend? Immediately after our race here tonight. Stay tuned for NHRA Nitro Live from Atlanta. Qualifying action from the 38th Annual Southern Nationals. It's coming up next, right here on FS1. Hermie with the crew chief of the leader.
That's Joe Shear. I know you guys did not want that caution, but we've got it. So what does your experience tell you your truck is going to do with a heat cycle on your tires?
We've been pretty good all day, so as long as he gets a good restart, nothing happens, we should be fine. But I would have rather went green.
Is it overcast, change of track conditions any? The sun has been in and out of the clouds.
I think it's helped a little bit, but it hasn't changed much.
It's Joe Shear, pretty confident, and rightfully so. Got a pretty good driver and a pretty good truck today.
We talk about NHRA qualifying from Atlanta. Well, Johnny Sauter needs a whole shot here on this restart.
And he's well aware of that, understanding how important this launch will be.
Well, they started on the front row to begin this race, Noah Gragson and Johnny Sauter. Let's hear from Gragson.
Bottom does win about 40% of the time here on the restart. They just get a hold of that left rear, they get on top of them and pulls them back up and throw it in there, and it makes it live. So just think about what you got to do to get through the gears and what you saw him struggle with and what you were better at. Just beat him.
A little pep talk from Rudy Fugel, the crew chief of Gragson.
And for us watching this, that'll be an interesting run down into turn 1. We see Noah Gragson really try to push the issue. You can get loose down on the bottom. That truck wants to get sideways, no air to lean on. There's a void of air between the outside truck of Johnny Sauter and his. Action could heat up. Matt Crafton might have a big smile on his face when they get off turn 2.
I think Matt Crafton probably has a smile on his face now, knowing he's got a restart in contention here.
Yeah, I got to believe Sauter and Gregson, Crafton, Justin Haley, they all are thinking they've got a real good shot here. And I wouldn't count out Ben Rhodes or Harrison Burton either, because they're pretty close to the front if those guys start banging together up ahead of them.
What about that pair of dads back on row 4? David Gillen and Joe Nemechek. They're battling inside the top 10. They'd like to have bragging rights amongst each other, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely.
Johnny Sauter's led 123 laps this evening. That's the second most laps he's ever led in a race. Go back to Lucas Oil Raceway in 2004. He led 139 laps in that race, but he was passed on the last lap by
Chad Chaffin.
Very nice.
Well done. That. So I thought you were going to say he dominated and won that race. That's not the case.
No,
huh?
he didn't. So it might not bode so well for Sauter here.
3, 2.
Coming to 13 to go. Sauter on the outside. Gregson on the inside. Racing for the win at Dover.
Great restart by Noah Gregson.
Can he make it stick? Gregson, no. Sauter fighting back on the outside.
I think Johnny will have the advantage when they get down to turn 3.
Contact. Little rub.
Oh, how hard it is for Gregson to do what he's doing. He's making it work. Can he do it another lap?
He's going to make it happen.
He does it. Sauter trying to get the run off the top, but he can't close. Noah Gregson to the front.
How about that sage advice from Rudy?
They're reviewing the start here, the 18 of Gregson.
That looks pretty close.
Looks pretty even to me.
Yeah, it just looks like a great job, but he can't go to the gas before Johnny Sauter does.
He can beat him to the start-finish line, but he can't go to the gas first.
Gregson out front as they go into turn 3. Johnny Sauter right behind him. Sauter on the high line. Coming to 10 to go. The restart given the thumbs up by NASCAR. Sauter chasing down Gregson.
Johnny Sauter is going to be all over this racetrack, as are other trucks battling inside the top 10. I looked up at this race, and they were 3 wide off turn 4.
Harrison Burton took that spot from Ben Rhodes for 6th.
Jesse Little still running a lap down after that pit road penalty.
He's in the free pass position right now if we get a late caution flag.
Inside of 10 to go, and Noah Gregson trying to win his first race of the season.
You watch all the places Johnny Sauter puts this 21 truck over the next 9 laps. He's going to try every groove possible. And look at the momentum he gets on that run off turn 4.
I can't even express how difficult and challenging it was for Noah Gregson on that restart, and he did the perfect job because Johnny Sauter knows when he's going. Noah Gregson has to guess when Johnny Sauter's going or go when he hears him go.
And if you wait till you hear him go, it's almost too late. He had to anticipate a bit, and then he couldn't panic. He had to just squeeze that gas down. It's really hard to get all that power to the ground down on the inside.
Gregson can ill afford a slip up here in these final laps because Sauter is right there to pounce.
I'll tell you, all the extra racing that Noah's been doing with that Xfinity car has helped him. He also ran the K&N race at Bristol not long ago, a few weeks ago.
Gregson says his confidence is as high as it's ever been, his comfort level in the truck as high as it's ever been, and he credits those laps and those races in the Xfinity car. Feels like he's really learned a lot over the past few weeks racing for Joe Gibbs in that Xfinity group. Looking to make it pay off here in the truck as you look at that slight bit of an advantage for Gregson as Sauter closes 0.2 of a second.
That was a great corner by Johnny Sauter. Can he get to his right rear corner?
He's going to get there.
Outside is there. Full. Still there. Clear.
Sauter may have clipped the wall.
Noah Gregson put the block on Johnny Sauter. It forced Sauter to come off the gas.
That may be a race-winning save right there by Noah Gregson, but Johnny's a little bit motivated right now.
Yeah, and I would say after watching turn 3 and 4, it's not going to save him the race. Johnny's just faster. He's going to be able to get back to Gregson, but getting there and passing him's proven to be two different things.
Is he going to have enough time as they go into turn 3? This time they cross the line. There will be 3 laps to go.
Look at the run.
Very bottom, they'll be gone.
Might Noah have to swing up and run the high lane because Johnny's so fast up there?
Sauter looks underneath this time. He's right there on the back bumper of Gregson.
Oh, and he's pushing him.
Sauter up top. Coming through turn 4.
Outside, he's there. Outside, on.
2 laps left. A little contact into 1.
Still there.
Rubbing. Side by side down the back stretch, going to turn 3. Oh! Contacted Gregson into the wall hard.
You're right. You're right, Noah. Sorry. It's okay. Hey, catch your breath. No rush. Catch your breath. It's okay.
That's not the physical pain from the accident. That's the emotional pain from the accident.
That's just leaving it all on the playing field. He had tried to hold off Johnny Sauter a couple times, then just tried to bump him a little bit getting down into turn 3, and it just turned his truck around.
Yeah, when he pulled back off him, he just lost grip in the rear. What an amazing veteran job Johnny Sauter did once he lost that lead on the restart.
So Rudy Fugle has been so close here at Dover. He won with Kyle Busch in 2014, but has come up empty a couple of times since when they've had race-winning trucks, and he's not going to get the victory as crew chief tonight either, as Noah Gregson climbs out. Boy, they made contact multiple times. Watch this one.
This is Gregson just not acknowledging that Johnny got to the outside. He said, I'm taking this exit, and Johnny ran into the wall trying to make the pass, and then right there, just too aggressive, too high, getting in the corner. Johnny tried to turn in, and Noah was just out of shape. He's out of position as he approached the corner. See how late he tries to make that move right there. And
yeah, Johnny was just driving straight down the straightaway. He hadn't turned into Noah or anything like that. Hard contact, though, with a safer barrier.
You know what this gets us, Phil? A chance to do it all over again.
Yeah, a little bit of overtime action.
My opening comments about this race is who would prevail, the youth or the experience?
Coming back to the white, still down there, still down there.
I wonder with...
He's spun out, he got a flat tire from hitting you. Caution is out. We'll have to do an overtime start.
I'm going to say, Johnny Sauter was not going to give Noah Gregson, wow, that was a big hit. I don't think Sauter was going to give Gregson any room after the way Sauter was pinched coming off turn 2 on that highlight that we saw.
And Sauter hit the wall as they approached turn 3.
Yeah.
He was pushed up so high down the back straightaway, he bounced off the wall before they made contact.
Frustration for the 19-year-old Noah Gregson. Sauter and Gregson, by the way, they'll be back at it tomorrow, both running in the Xfinity race.
Both doing double duty this weekend.
Can't say enough about this guy, huh?
Mm-hmm. The way it's not over. Hey, we've got Matt Crafton, the guy with just as much experience as Johnny Sauter, that will restart right next to him for this restart.
The only guys who have won here at Dover are going to restart on the front row.
And what about inside the second row? David Gilliland has found himself right back in position to win this race. And you remember how fast that 54 truck was on that long green flag run. He could have something to say about who wins this race.
Overtime at Dover. Heartbreak for Noah Gregson. Who's going to win it? Beautiful night in Dover, Delaware. We're at the Monster Mile and getting ready to go overtime, or as Mike calls it,
it's Dover time.
Here's why we're under caution.
Great battle for the lead, potentially the win right here.
This was coming to the white.
You could see Sauter's truck bounce off that outside wall, and then Noah Gregson hard through the third turn up into the outside wall as well.
The two leaders battling for the lead coming to the white flag, and that brings us to overtime. So you see it, 2-lap shootout. They'll take the green and then they'll come back around, and if the leader takes the white flag, the next flag will it'll be the end of the race, whether it's the caution flag or the checkered flag. But if the caution comes out prior to the leader taking the white, well, we'll line them up and restart them again. Well, the crew chief of the 88, they've got a shot, Hermie.
Well, Junior, you've been telling your driver and your crew all day, if we can get up front, we've got a shot to win. So you've got a shot. So just how aggressive will your driver be to try to get this checkered flag?
I hope as aggressive as it takes. I want another monster. We've had a good Menards F-150 all day. The guys back home and in the pits done an excellent job. All weekend we've kind of struggled. So to be here right now with a shot, one of the best in the business to do it, I put my money on it.
Alan?
Crew Chief Bono Mannion, David Gilliland, the best spot he's been in all day. You've got a veteran driver in overtime. What do you tell him?
Well, you know, I think we have a great opportunity to win. I was hoping to restart third there, but Brett and his dad from Frontliner here today, and just the great sponsors, and we just told them to go out and win.
Should be a good one. Overtime coming.
Sound like they were arguing over who was actually in third place at the moment of caution. NASCAR awarded that position to Justin Haley, so that second row is going to have to watch what happens on the front. We've seen how intense it can get.
The last two winners here at Dover, Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter. They'll restart on the front row for overtime when we return. I'm at the Monster Mile, getting ready to settle it. Matt Crafton on the inside and race leader Johnny Sauter on the outside, with David Gilliland and Justin Haley behind the front row. There's Gilliland in the 54, Haley in the 24. Matt Crafton, the only driver 40 years plus in age to win in the trucks in the last 113 races. Last week, Johnny Sauter turned 40. The veterans going to try to settle it. Overtime underway.
And they are dead even.
Tight, real tight, real tight, real tight, real tight.
Sauter coming back on the outside.
Look at Haley right there in case these guys slip.
Sauter to the front, barely. Crafton trying to come back, but Sauter's got it. The white flag for Johnny Sauter. Sauter trying to go back to back at Dover. For the second time this season, after winning the season opener at Daytona, Johnny Sauter wins at Dover.
Guys, that's what I'm talking about. Ass kicking. Yes. Yeah, boys, good job. Good job, everybody. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Lauren Gallagher, Mike Beam, Joe, all you guys. You guys are the best.
You don't think it means something, huh?
You think it hurt him turning 40 this week?
Nothing like the thrill of victory, especially in that type of dramatic fashion.
How about the only repeat winners in Dover ever?
Guys, love you all, the hard work, man. We, we needed to work on this thing for Dover. You know, we won it last time, but boy, we came a long ways here. This is an awesome truck, awesome driver, awesome guys. Everything's awesome.
You see that Autism Delaware sticker on the inside of the truck for Johnny Sauter, and it's a special weekend for the Fox family here in Dover as well.
We just had an awesome day yesterday at the Artie Kipner's Autism Golf Tournament, the Drive for Autism, raising so much money, and just seeing that sign there with Johnny Sauter celebrating. I think that's what Artie felt like after the tournament yesterday, and everything good that they've done.
Artie is Artie Kempner, the director for our Cup telecasts here on Fox. Downstairs to Allen.
Down here with Noah Gregson, he's out of the care center. We saw the emotion inside the truck. You were going for the win. Is there anything you regret about the move?
Yeah, just extremely disappointed in myself.
For what?
Just, it's just a racing deal, you know. These things are so hard to win, and so close to get my first win, and went up to side draft him and kind of got pointed to the inside wall, and then went to side draft him again. It was just a racing deal. Not the way I try and race people. Take full responsibility in that right there. That was 100% my fault. So it's just unacceptable on my part. Man, so close to winning, and all I could think about was just the mistake I made, and I really want to get that monster. This is such a badass track, and to not be able to get it done for all the Safe Flight Auto Glass employees that came out here today, and my team, are just devastated.
It wasn't the win, but it was a lesson learned for Noah Gregson, guys.
They are indeed tough to win. Johnny Sauter knows it. He's gone back-to-back. Sun is setting, and a beautiful sight here at the Monster Mile, and even prettier in Victory Lane, right, Hermie?
Here he is, Johnny Sauter, for the second consecutive year here at the Monster Mile. He drives his Chevy to Victory Lane. Johnny, I know nothing is supposed to come easy at this level of racing, but you being 40 years old and all, well, how tough was that on you to come back from that issue and losing the lead and getting it back and driving this truck to Victory Lane?
Well, you just never give up. So proud of Joe and all these guys at GMS, all the guys at the shop. Barry, all the guys in the Fab shop, Finish Fab. I just, tough week for the Gallagher family. This wins for Spencer, and he's a smart kid, and he'll get it right. And I'm proud of him, and just so proud of this team, GMS Racing, Chevrolet, just everybody that helped us out, Sunseeker Resorts. We had to work for this one today. Noah I had a good run on him there, and he squeezed me off. I was like, okay, well, he just gave me the green light to be aggressive. So, yeah, this was just hard racing. You know, we had a really good truck on long runs, and, you know, that's just racing right there. So just proud of these guys, proud of this pit crew. The pit crew was phenomenal today. These guys have picked us up spots all year, and thank the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the Blessed Mother, and today's another First Friday win for us, so pray for the poor souls of purgatory.
That's Johnny Sauter, win number 2 for the season here at Dover. Alan?
Maybe unexpectedly, Matt Crafton had a late shot at this race. What more did you need to get by veteran and friend Johnny Sauter?
We just didn't have, for whatever reason, we just did not have short run speed. I mean, we've always been a lot better in the past here on short run, and they brought a different tire, and it kind of threw us for a loop. First practice, we were terrible. Second practice, we made some headway, and then Junior and I and the guys went to dinner last night and put our heads together and changed a bunch of stuff, and we made it better, but still, just for whatever reason, it just would not fire off. It would take 15 to 20 laps, and I could run comparable lap times with them, but I just didn't have the speed. But had a really good restart there at the end, and I moved him up as far as I could, and I was waiting for Stevie, the spotter, to tell me, clear, clear. And I knew I was close, real close, but me and Johnny turned 40 this week, so he's part of the old man crew, and we've got a lot of flack this week about being the 40-year-olds, but these two 40-year-olds showed the kids how to do it, I guess.
All right, good job. Second place, not bad, guys.
It's been the year of the veteran, hasn't it? Cup guys getting it done over there on the older side as well.
Beautiful
Johnny
race.
Sauter, the winner. How about this scene, huh? Beautiful. Dover, Delaware. Great setting tonight. The fans here in attendance enjoyed it, and I'm sure you did as well. I know that man did. Johnny Sauter. There's Noah Gregson, who had contact with Sauter in the closing laps and regulation, having conversation, and certainly congratulatory, I'm sure. So you look at our top 10.
How about David Gilliland there? Limited starts in that 54 truck that he co-owns with Bola Mastis with a top 5 finish.
Well, our next race 1 week from tonight at Kansas Speedway. Looking forward to that one. For Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, Hermie Sadler, Alan Cavana, I'm Vince Welch. Thanks for joining us from Dover. Coming up next, NHRA Friday Nitro from Atlanta.